Hey folks, Fat Guy Flies RC out here today at Vaughn Park Field. Well, I checked the internet this morning. Today's March 8th to 26th, and I haven't seen any private videos on the all-new FLIGHTLINE 1600mm P-51D Mustang, so I may be the first. I just produced my unboxing build and setup video. I'm now featuring a tail wheel gyro, which I'm hoping that works right. So, should. So anyways, all right, we're going to take it up and give it a shot. Got a 5200 HCl pack inside there. Take off in my high rates. Hey, wind is coming from that way, or wait a minute, kind of from the east. Kind of from the east. All right.
Motor hot and ready to cut you. Back away.
Let me do a little taxi test first, just to see how it is. Did a range test out my street, no problems at all. Just doing a little, this is how she steers. I don't think it'll be a problem. Okay. Beautiful plane. Alrighty, now this ESC does feature reverse thrust, but do not use it. Even says in instructions and a warning on the ESC, it will loosen your prop nut. The torque of that big prop will loosen your prop nut and you will have a very bad day. So right, left, up, down. All right. Kind of a cross breeze. Like I say, this is the maiden flight. I've never had her in the air, so let's keep our fingers crossed. Good Lord be with me. All right, gonna just see how she behaves. Timer set for 5 minutes. Gonna go on my high rates. Not gonna use flaps right off the bat. All right, just gotta do it.
The gyro is turned off. AS3X mode.
Put my gains about so far up. Okay, nervous. Remember, it's a warbird, so.
Ear tucked away.
All right. Flying pretty good. Yeah, it's windy though. All right, I'm okay with the elevator trim. Needs a little bit of left aileron.
Time remaining 4 minutes.
Actually, right aileron. All right. We test inverted. A little bit of elevator needed. All right.
Ear down and ready to land. Ear tucked away. Landing flaps.
I know I'm a good ways off.
Ear down and ready to land.
Oh, don't worry, I'm not landing right now.
Time remaining 3 minutes. Flaps up.
All right. Pretty well behaved, but I am dealing with a nasty crosswind right now. All right. I do want more elevator authority. All right. I am going to increase the throw on my elevator. Going to do it electronically right now. 100% for me is not enough. That's by the book right there. Okay, so let me go in here electronically. We're going to increase our throw on our elevator. I'm going to increase that to 115. Okay. All right. Just lost all of our wind. So now I can test out these takeoff flaps.
Takeoff flaps.
All right. Still got a minute, 2 minutes and 15 seconds.
Flaps up. Ear tucked away.
Very well behaved on taking off.
Time remaining 2 minutes. Landing flaps. Flaps up.
Yeah, she'll snap roll.
Gear down and ready to land. Landing flaps. Flaps up.
Needs a little more. Actually, I think it needs down elevator trim instead of up elevator trim.
One minute.
All right. I'm gonna have to go get her. All right, according to the timer, we still have 47 seconds, but I want to check it.
Prop is shut down. Safe to approach.
All right, let's check it and see what we've got. I've got the KM model's battery check in there. It gives me a constant readout. It also gives me altitude and speed. Now the heat has made my hatch swell. Okay. Come on. There we go. All right. Still got 64% left in the battery, and and I was up to 73 mile an hour. So we can go up and get a little bit more. All right, just getting used to it. New plane. All right. Remember, I put the satin finish on this, not the clear gloss. All right, so honestly, 7 minutes would probably be a good bet.
Motor hot and ready to cut you. Back away.
All right. I want to be able to land at least one time with the flaps. Alrighty, here we go.
Take off flaps. Flaps are ear tucked away.
She's got plenty of power.
30 seconds.
Beautiful plane.
20 seconds.
Very well made.
Gear down and ready to land.
Very well behaved warbird.
Landing. Timer expired. Flaps up.
Yeah. I only want to try to horse her in straight because of this cross breeze. Yeah, I like the way that tail wheels got that driving nice and straight, even with the cross breeze hitting it. Not the best maiden in the world, but like I say, a new plane, not sure how she behaves, and dealing with a cross breeze on top of that. All right. We'll change out batteries, get another flight here in a little while, and we'll go over the whole thing back in the man cave. I don't know if you can see this or not, but look at the guns on the edge of the wings.
Guns firing. Guns firing.
Guns firing. Isn't that cool? All right. Well, we're going to check the battery real quick, and we're going to end this flight.
Prop is shut down. Safe to approach.
Prop is shut down. Safe to approach. So far, I got to be out here on a calmer day just to see how true she is. And let's see what we got going here. All right. Still 73 mile an hour, and I got 49% left on the battery with, let me check per cell. Like I say, we'll go over everything back in the man cave. And per cell, 38, 38, 38, 38 per cell. Alrighty, well there we go. That is the all-new P-51D Mustang 1600mm, the latest release from Motion RC and FLIGHTLINE. It's a good flying plane. I just got to come up here on a calm day and just see how it feels. Thank you for watching. God bless y'all, and don't forget, faith, family, and friends, and the Mustangs. Bye, y'all. Hey folks, all right, second flight ever on the FLIGHTLINE 1600mm Mustang P-51D. High rates, 6.5 minutes, I increased the throws on the elevator to 115.
Motor hot and ready to cut you. Back away.
Now this time I'm going to try to capture my AS3X gains, and then I'll share those with you. Alright, wind has died. Real quick, we're going to pause for just a moment. Okay, we're back. I had to adjust that flap setting. Alright.
Take off flaps.
Take off flaps.
Flaps up. Ear tucked away. Landing flaps. Flaps up.
Yeah. Took some of that up elevator trim out of the flap mix.
Time remaining 6 minutes.
Yeah, I like the way she's flying.
Gear down and ready to land. Landing flaps.
Yeah, I like that flap setting
Flaps up.
much better. All right. The factory flapped elevator mix to me was just too much. So I took the majority of it out, but we'll share it afterwards. We'll share everything back in the man cave. That way you can see everything I give you afterwards is all proven. Be a couple of flights on this, all will have the same after flight report. Because I won't change the setting once I got them.
Take off flaps.
Once I got them in and happy, I don't change them. Still got 5 minutes, so let's take off again. Very well behaved warbird. But you still got to be on that rudder when you go take off.
Flaps up. Ear tucked away. Time remaining 5 minutes.
Oh man, what a big sweetheart. Beautiful plane too. Second flight ever. And she will snap roll. All right, we gotta do some stall testing now. All right, it'll be a clean stall.
Time remaining 4 minutes.
Just pull the power off, see what she does. And she just kind of starts slumping down. All right. Pull up elevator. All right, right wing, or left wing, sorry. Looks like the left wing is what's going to drop.
Gear down and ready to land. Landing flaps.
What an absolute sweetheart. Oh man, what a baby. What a baby doll.
Flaps up.
Alright, we'll try taking off from there. We're not going to use flaps this time. Going into a little bit of wind that we have.
Gear tucked away. Time remaining 3 minutes.
Gliding in.
Gear down and ready to land. Landing flaps.
Man, what a big baby doll.
Flaps up.
All right.
Take off flaps.
One more time.
Flap gear tucked away. Time remaining 2 minutes.
You don't want to pull too much elevator, you can go into an accelerated stall.
Gear down and ready to land. Landing flaps.
All right. What a beautiful, well-behaved plane. Free and easy.
Flaps up.
All right. Let me go on there and capture my AS3X settings.
Prop is shut down. Safe to approach.
All right, I got them captured. Roll 16, pitch 20, yaw 23. So that'll be my new limit that they will go to. All right. Very happy with the way the plane has been behaving. That was the second flight ever. I had 1 minute left on a 6.5 minute timer. So we flew for a full 5.5 minutes. The rates that I just flew in, just go ahead and share them with you. 100% throws, 30% expo on the ailerons. Elevator, 115 with 30% expo. Okay. And then the rudder, 100% with 30% expo also. Now I will go over how I did the tail wheel gyro. I'll show you how I did that on the radio, and how I did it in the plane physically tonight when I go do the after flight reports for these flights, and I'll include that. Actually, I'll just make that a separate video because people want to know how I'm doing the nose wheel gyro. It's the same procedure. You can use it for nose wheel or for tail wheel or for tail gyro, but understand, for a tail wheel gyro, that gyro must have its own separate servo that drives it. If it's hooked to your rudder servo, you can't do it. It's just like the nose wheel. Nose wheel must have its own separate steering servo. Otherwise, you can't do it. All right, well, that was that flight. Like I said, we had a minute left on a 6.5 minute timer this time. I'm thinking you probably could set your time for 7.5 minutes and fly the way you want. She seems like she's very efficient. On the battery, I have a 5200 HCl pack, just like I showed you in the unbox and build as far as placement. You want to push down that tab, pull up on the battery tray, and she'll slide right out. We were going 80 mile an hour. 84 mile an hour is as fast as we got that time. Okay. And which feels about right. She's not a super fast rocket ship, but she's got a huge presence in the air. All right, 53% with 3/8 per cell. All right, 3/8 per cell. Okay. All right, well, I'm happy with that. I'm gonna put that battery tray, hear that click in, that's not coming back. They did that battery, they did their homework. They did that battery tray correctly. Real quick, I want to share CG. I don't know if I shared CG with you or not in the unbox and build, but it is 120 millimeters back from the root here, but that puts it right back here, and there's actually CG marks. I took a Sharpie and marked over that just so I could see it better. I didn't want to put anything on there. The plane is so pretty, I don't want to mark it up any more than I have to. And put my finger. Now I'm looking for it to be slightly nose heavy. That's what I want. I want my warbirds to be with the wind here. Slightly nose heavy. That's what I want. All right, let's show you this gear real quick. Prop is off. I wouldn't be touching this thing if the prop wasn't off. There you go. I think I hit that door. They lock open. As you can see, the nose wheel, I must have hit something. The tail wheel goes up and down a lot quicker. Hear that last little burst? That's them locking open. I've hit something. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I broke that little bracket there. Yeah, there's a little bracket. That's what it is. There's a little magnetic thing, and I broke that. And it should work now. Yep. Nice and clean. Alrighty, well there you go, folks. That is the second flight. Second flight ever of the all new, just released FLIGHTLINE P-51D from FLIGHTLINE Motion RC 1600mm. This is one great, well-behaved warbird. Didn't really notice any bad tendencies. She does want to drop what we decided, well, left wing with pulling up the elevator on a stall. So that's okay. I mean, at least you know. Just straight power off and not doing anything, she just glides forward. So, and where I've showed you where I've got the battery, good CG. All right, folks, we'll see you back at the man cave. We'll go over everything. God bless y'all, and don't forget, faith, family, and friends, and the warbirds from Motion RC. Bye-bye. All right, you got your new FLIGHTLINE. I hope I haven't been saying FreeWing all this time. Your new FLIGHTLINE P-51D 1600mm Mustang. All right, and you're done for the day, and you want to take it apart. Okay, I'm just going to show you how easy it is to take apart, but I'm also going to show you then the things you need to look out for when you go to put it together. All right, I'm going to do it in reverse. Take that off. Turn your plane upside down because it sits flatter with that cap off of there. Okay. All right, you got these tabs. You want to press in where they pop out. Do the same thing over here and over here. They pop out. You see white? This is when you want to see white. You're going to slide your wing out. Go ahead and slide out on this side because you're going to have unequal weight. Okay, take your wing, whatever you want to do with it. Okay, take your tabs, or take your wing there. Okay, take your wing spars, they're both exactly the same length, so it doesn't matter which one goes in where. You're done for the day, you want to pack it up, take your wing spars, just lay them in there. Put your cap back on, okay, and then when you get home, you can take your plane, put it up on a, excuse you, I was like, something dropped. Put it on a plane stand, put it back in the corner, but you got the wings off, so you've got a lot more room, you know, just stand the wings upside. I do this lots of times with my planes. A big plane like this, I'll set it up in the corner like that, and put the wings up against it. And that's how much room it takes up. Okay, so that's simple. Now, you get to the field, and I do recommend transporting with the gear up, like this. So that's what you call a quick save right there. That's called a quick save. All right, I transport with your gear stowed away. Come back here. You just got here for the day. You want to put your plane together. Open it up, take out your wing spars, turn it around, okay, put your wing spars in, just that quick, okay, helps to grab the correct wing, makes things easier. Somehow she flies better when the right wing's on the correct side. Now when you're putting this together, lift up on the gear door just a little bit and slide that in. Okay, hold that there. Grab your other wingy dingy. Wingy dingy. The old wingy dingy. Okay. Line your two spars up. Pull up on that gear door. Okay. And get them both in there. Just like that. Now here's the most important part. See, you got that white? See white there? White, no flight. Gray, okay. All right, pull in, press down. So it clicks in, you don't see white. Press in. Remember, white, no flight. Gray, all okay. And that's how you do that, folks. That is a simple field assembly and disassembly of the all-new P-51 1600mm from FLIGHTLINE from Motion RC. Great flying plane. Now if you want to, there's partitions you can remove that. Well, I got mine in there pretty tight. There's an antenna here, and I think maybe underneath, maybe it's under that wing there. They just push in. You watch my unbox and build, and there's a place you can poke them in there if you don't want to keep them on, but they're really out of the way. So there you go. Thank you for watching. God bless y'all. God is good. And don't forget, faith, family, and friends, and then Mustangs. Bye, y'all. Well, hey, Man, I tell you what, I'm upset about one thing. I went to fly this a third time, which that video won't be out yet until that's going to be a Warbird Wednesday. Picking up, ran my hand over that antenna and sheared it right off. And I broke off the base, so I'm going to have to fish that up out of there, which is in there tight, and that's just by pressure, that antenna. So I just don't have an antenna, okay? But I will tell you something, when the delivery for free and easy, the plane's not free, but the easy part is true. This plane flies so well. I actually got 3 flights in. The maiden flight's going to include both. The maiden flight's going to include both of these. The maiden and the secondary flight will be part of this video. But I got to tell you, this plane flies amazing. It is so easy to fly, easy to land, easy to take off. I'm just, it's a lot of fun. Now, on the nose wheel gyro issue, I'm very well aware the nose wheel gyro is completely unneeded in a tail dragger because you're only on your tail for just a short amount of time. As soon as you take off, the tail goes up, and and then it's ineffective anyways. I had an 8-channel receiver in there. The plane required 7 channels to get everything out of it if I don't use the bottom drop. So I had an open channel. I figured, well, this one has a dedicated channel for steering for the tail wheel, just like a nose wheel would have if you want to use a kind of gyro system. And I figured, why not? I'll try it. So that's why I did it. And so it is possible. Now, about the plane. Let's go over our rates and everything. Right off the bat, let me show you my flying rates. I end up flying with, I'll share with you everything I like about the plane, which is a whole lot. And there's just a few minor gripes that I have about the plane from a layman's standpoint. I don't consider myself a professional RC pilot by any stretch of the imagination. Okay, it's a big plane, so I've got to try to manipulate this in such a way to where you can see everything. All right. Okay, you should be able to see all the control surfaces here. All right, I only flew her in high rates. Okay, so since I only flew it in high rates, that's what I'll share with you. My flying rates are, now this is after me flying twice before I lock these rates in. Ailerons are 100%, 30% expo, and that's by the book. Rudder, I'm skipping elevator. Rudder, 100% with 30% expo by the book. Now, elevator, however, the book called for one rate 100% with 30% expo. Their expo being their suggested expo. They know that's very personal. I found that 100% was not enough elevator authority for me, so I increased it to 115 electronically. Okay, so that's 115. Now, flap settings, that's a different issue. The book settings for flap will be in the unbox and build. I did that right down by the book. I didn't agree with them. After flying the plane, they had up elevator trim. It was not needed for takeoff at all. And for their landing up elevator trim, it was way too much. I mean, you're still climbing and it's just too much and completely ineffective. I'll be honest, probably don't need a mix at all. And so what I ended up with is the deflection rate being the same. Flaps up 100%, no mix. Takeoff flaps 25%, which is that right there. Flaps. And I ended up with no mix there. And then landing flaps is a negative 50%, but with a negative 5% up elevator mix, which equates to maybe 0.5 millimeter. And I'll be honest, I don't even think I need it. In fact, I'm just going to go ahead and take that out. Of course, I can't see if it's effective right now if I'm not flying it. But I'll be honest, it still climbed a little bit, and or not as much. So I don't think it needs it at all. I think the plane is just fine for the way I have it trimmed, and I don't think it needs it. So start with their suggested rate, because where you put your battery and how you fly, that might have been spot on for you. But the book rates for the flap mix for me was just, it wasn't needed. Personally, I don't think the plane needs a flapped elevator mix, but that's just me. All right, now my forward programming, these are the rates that I ended up flying in and using. Okay, understand the gains are set at one-time gains. Okay, and the gains that I captured after the second flight, that this will be my new, when we tell you that we're capturing these gains, you go from 0% all the way up to this number I'm going to give you, and the plane flies great somewhere in there. So for roll, 16%, for pitch, 20%, and for yaw, 23%. So anywhere from 0 to there is where this roller will go now. Okay, it used to go from here up to 60 or 40 or whatever, but now that's where the new gain settings are, and this is where I find her to be a happy medium. And it was kind of windy today, so that's a good setting for me. All right, now priority, I moved all that from the stock of 140. I moved roll and pitch to 110 and yaw to 120, and that seemed to work out really well. Is how quickly that plane prioritizes the gain reaction. Did nothing with heading. Stop lock is more how crisp the elevator or the control servos stop, from what I understand. But I changed that all to 40 on roll, pitch, and yaw, and that seemed to lock her in really nice. That seemed to be really well. And one-time gains, and you already know about my where I captured them at. The nose wheel gyro or the tail wheel gyro in this particular situation, I'll tell you the numbers. The steering gains are a 50% window. In other words, it will operate within 50%, and the gains itself is at 50%. So really that nose wheel gyro doesn't really move that much. Okay, or the tail wheel gyro doesn't move that much, and the priority out is at 180. Be honest, if I end up getting the drop tanks, I'll gladly give up that tail wheel gyro to put the drop tanks mechanism in, because like one viewer already pointed out to me, and it's very true, it's obvious, you're only on your tail for a short time. As soon as you get up to speed, that tail comes up and you're driving it with your flight rudder anyways. So it was just because I had an open channel. So okay, we're not going to beat that dead horse any further. And now things, we don't have enough time on video space to go over everything I love about this plane. So let's talk about what I don't like about the plane. What I don't like about the plane is the price, but I'll tell you, it's a well-engineered plane. And when I'm holding it right here, I just got to find a better way to hold it. You want to put your hand in there, and you're putting your fingers on them gear doors, and I'm afraid I'm going to break them one of these days. And so I don't like that, but that's just me. That's not a design flaw of the plane. However, there is what I consider a design flaw. It may not be that big of a deal to you. When I anchored in the three main anchor screws that hold the tail assembly in, this front nose is still kind of loose. And I don't dare tighten them screws down any further for fear of stripping them out. So that's got a little bit of play to it. I think they could have, personally, I think this end here should have been plastic, and this should have been a hard point. But I know they're trying to keep it clean, and you certainly couldn't go in from the bottom because the tail wheel mechanism and everything back there. But I think this should have been a tongue and groove type situation instead of because it just sits in there flat. I may actually end up going back in there, take all, and then put me a bead of glue in there to anchor that down, because that was a little sloppy, and that may have just been a simple oversight on their thing, on their part. The other thing that I don't like about it, and it just went right out of my head, apparently not all that important. Oh yeah, that's what it is. Getting the battery in and out, the battery tray mechanism, You really, it's really tight, and maybe it'll get better as time goes by, but you press down on this bar and you pull your battery tray. You have to really pull up on the tray to get it to clear and get it to slide out. That's a minor gripe, and I think that'll get better with time. The other thing is that they make it very clear that you can have reverse function, okay? And not that I'm saying you have to have reverse function. We did fine for many years without it. But if you're going to make it clear that you're going to have an ESC that you don't want them using reverse function, they program these things at the factory, these ESCs. They could have programmed this ESC to have to reverse function not able to be programmed if it's so dangerous they don't. And so instead they took the easy way out, and they just put a warning label on the ESC, and they put it in the manual, don't use it. And you know good and well, people are not going to read that, and they're going to say, oh, another stupid label, it's in Chinese, and they're not going to take the time to really look at it and look down there in plain English, oh, don't use reverse function. And they're going to do it, and people are going to have problems. And so they had to have known that. So they should have took the time, instead of just taking a stock ESC off their supply and put them in here, they should have took those ESCs and programmed them where that is not able to be, not able to happen, because customers are going to not pay attention, they're going to do it. Okay? That's just my gripe. And that's my 3 gripes. And they're very, very minor gripes. Very minor gripes, and not even really that big of a deal. I will tell you though, things I love about this plane. I love the presence. I love the way it flies. I love the way it handles. I love the way it sounds. Everything about it. Like I said, only the price, and that's not that big of a deal, because really, what you get with this thing, it's worth it. It really is worth it. It went together so easy. It flies so good. It looks so good. The gun function is awesome. It can be seen so well. Watch my 3rd video on this, which, excuse me, is a Warbird Wednesday, and I remembered the guns, and I use them a lot in a lot of strafing runs, and man, I tell you what, this thing looks amazing. It looks like the real thing flying around. It really, really does. The gear are stellar. I mean, you got suspension, and they work so well. And I'm sorry, I totally forgot about giving you grass ops. I did have one landing in one of the videos where I came in on the land and thing, but this has more than enough clearing. So you grass guys, you won't have any problem at all. Unless you've got bushy grass. You know, if you've got a normal runway grass, it's about maybe only an inch or so, you won't have any problem at all. If it's cut for runway, this thing is tailor-made for you, just like their big F-Warrior Corsair over there. Grass is not going to be an issue. Not going to be an issue. Let me turn this plane over real quick. Okay, I really should have had a plane stand available, but I didn't. So I didn't pull one out. Plane's kind of heavy. I ain't gonna lie. The plane is a little heavy. Okay. Now I gotta get to my transmitter. This gear, absolutely stellar gear. Stellar gear. It really is. You can see the tail wheel there.
Away.
Look at that. Absolutely incredible looking gear. Works so well. CG is 120 millimeters back from the leading edge root of the wing. Okay. Turn the plane over here. And I like Warbirds to be a little on the nose heavy side, and both with the gear up and without, or gear down, she CG's pretty much the same way, and that is pretty good. Just kind of favoring nose heavy, which that is perfect right there. I mean, spot on. Where I showed you I had the battery, well, maybe I didn't show you. Take the battery out real quick and show you where I've got the battery. Now, though, that's the other thing about, they should have made this battery lead for the EC5 about an inch shorter, about an inch longer, and then that way it'd be easier to get the battery in and out. All right, let me pull the battery tray out. When you pull the tray out about an inch, then unplug it or plug it in at that point, and then pull it out the rest of the way. It just makes it a lot easier. That's things that, you know, common day users find out. If you'll put your battery, if you have a 5000, put it at the very end of that opening. If you have anything bigger than that, start working your way back. So this is where I put a 5200 right there. Okay, folks, you'll get perfect CG. Folks, I'm telling you right now, FLIGHTLINE, Motion RC, y'all did an incredible job with this. Did a great job, well engineered, beautiful plane, flies amazing, and it flies better than it looks, and it looks amazing. I'm a very happy camper, and I do not regret my $630 spent on this at all. I absolutely love this plane. And next time I take it out of the field, we're gonna get some grass ops for you. So I'll show you, I'll prove to you that this thing is just grass ops ready, no problem. All right, God bless you. Y'all have a good one. Let's take it out. Let's go fly it. See you later. Bye-bye. Actually, we already flew it. I don't know what I'm doing. Bye.